Good morning and welcome back to Ometepe Island here in Nicaragua. I decided to come back to visit a couple spots that I really loved the last time that I was here, as well as check out a new city, or town if you will, that I didn't get to last time. This will allow me to basically complete I'll call it the four corners of Ometepe. Previously went to Moyogalpa, and Merida, and this time I have added Altagracia, which is in sort of the northeast corner of the island. It is one of the prettier towns that I've seen so far, and I cannot wait to show you around. So let's get started. This is my night rider and my trusty guard dog who's been watching over the bike for me. Hi! Yeah, I rented a scooter again, this time while I'm here. It is far and away the easiest way to get around the island. There are buses that go around the island too, but they're only about once an hour. So, and then when you get to town, you still have to walk. And this place where I'm staying, which is unbelievable, and I can't wait to show it to you, is about 1.5 kilometers from town down a dirt road. So you'd either have to walk all the way down, or the scooter makes it so much easier. So let's go for a little drive first, show you the area, and there's a couple stops here in town that I want to check out and talk a little bit more about why I think, fallen in love with Ometepe here in Nicaragua. So I just sort of stopped here for a second. This is the kind of the main fork in the road here, I suppose, if you're on Ometepe. If you are going over to places like Merida, sort of the other half of the island, if you will, this is where the main turnoff is. This kind of takes you over that way and takes you over to that whole other island. Altagracia is actually just straight ahead. So Altagracia is on Volcan Concepcion, but on the eastern side of it, which is sort of unique, I think, on the island. Most other places are sort of on the western half of the island, or to the south and stuff like that. It's beautiful because you get the sunset behind the volcano every night from town. When I was in Moyogalpa for the first night of my arrival, I actually went down to the water there and checked out the sunset there, and it was absolutely stunning view. So I stopped here just to kind of show you the introduction. We're actually going to head back this way up into town, and it's all paved the whole way, which is nice. Once you get out past Altagracia to some of the smaller towns, it turns into mostly dirt road fairly quickly, but there are other towns up there that have significant populations, and as you saw coming from where I'm staying, a lot of the side roads and stuff are mostly dirt also, which is fine if you have a scooter or a four-wheeler or something like that. If you're walking as well, just keep in mind that some of those places can be quite a distance. So let's head back up into town. I kind of want to show you as you come into it, because it's really pretty. They get this really beautifully colored and painted main road with lights and seating and all that kind of stuff, and it's a really, really cool experience. So let's drive back up in, and I will show you what that looks like first. So we're here just sort of at the entrance into town. You've got this really pretty display here, Avenida Altagracia, and it's got all the different fruits and stuff on it that are native to the region. You got coconut and papaya and corn and watermelons and bananas and plantains and avocados and all kinds of stuff. And then from here, they've actually got these nice little sidewalks with some seating areas, and at nighttime it's all lit up here really pretty. And of course they have one of the metal tree structures there off in the distance that were installed all over the country a few years ago. And it's just a really pretty spot here. There's actually a school just over here on the left, sort of a school zone, I guess. Yeah, really, really pretty town. This is one of the few places on the island that I've seen actually that has this kind of display to it. Moyogalpa has something similar with its walking street as you come into town and head up the hill a little bit. But this is really cool. And it's kind of busy. You can kind of see it's a pretty main thoroughfare here along the island, so you get a lot of traffic and stuff. Traffic of all types. Cars, motorcycles, horses, cows, bicycles, whatever. And it's a really, really cool spot. So let's head into town, speaking of cows. I couldn't have timed that better if I tried. It's one of the buses that goes around the island. It's actually a gas station here as well, one of just, I believe, just 2 on the island. So if you need to get gas or anything, you can stop here and fill up. And despite the music in the background, they've got the, of course, ever-present Altagracia city sign with a couple of, I believe, herons, maybe, on both sides of it. And there's all kinds of great restaurants and places to eat here in the city. And let's take a drive through. One of the other things that's kind of awesome about Altagracia is that it's also very respectful of its history. The Pre-Columbian history here on the island goes back thousands of years. If you remember the last time we were here and we went to visit the rock carvings that were up on the hill, not too far from Balguay, and there's some replica statues here. And in the Central Park, down by the church, we're gonna head down there too and have a look. They've got some more artifacts of the people who lived here on the island thousands of years ago. It actually turns into sort of a divided road up here ahead also, which is kind of nice. And they've got this little statue in the middle here to start the separation. Really pretty spot. Another school zone here also, so if you're driving around on a bike, make sure you are mindful of the speed limits, because the last thing you want to do is get a ticket. Let's go down here first to the Central Park, and I'll show you that to start. So one of the things that's pretty cool about this little park is they've got this giant model of the island here set up with the 2 volcanoes and then the ring road around it. So this would be Volcan Concepcion here and Volcan Madeiras there. I'm assuming this is Concepcion because it's got the lava at the top, and it is the only one of the 2 volcanoes that is still active. We are pretty much sort of where this side would be here. Up along this strip, and then if you wanted to head down, sort of Balguay would be down there. Merida is on the other side over there, and on this side would be Moyogalpa, where the ferries come in to the island, just kind of down there. So really cool, pretty good size too. It's probably, I don't know, 4 meters tall, I would say. This whole park is just covered in trees and plants and flowers of all different shapes and sizes. Lots of seating and stuff, lots of vendors. So if you're hungry or need a drink, this would be a nice place to come and check out. I'm trying to make a new friend, but she's pretty skittish. So yeah, this is my second time here, and I am, of course, repeating 2 of the places I went to last time, one of which was just ease, because when you come into Moyogalpa on the ferries, it's always the first destination, and you know, that's where you can kind of get yourself organized, rent yourself a scooter, and kind of get yourself all set up. As far as rentals go, I've now rented scooters from 2 different companies here in the city, on the island, I guess. First time was with Willie's Rentals, who were awesome. They were the ones that took me over to the baseball field to kind of give me a quick refresher on what I needed to know. And were very helpful and great service. And then the second time, this time, I went with Ometepe Rentals, Moyogalpa, which is just a few steps away from Willie's, to be honest. And the reason I did that was because when I was at my stay in Moyogalpa, they actually offered to arrange it for me and gave me the rate that would normally have been reserved for a week-long rental. I only needed it for 6 days, and they gave me the weekly per day price of $13 per day. So I think that most of the rental companies here on the island are pretty standard, pretty much the same thing at this point. I think gone are the days of renting somewhere and getting really sketchy looking scooters and all that kind of stuff, because that doesn't help, it doesn't help the customer and it doesn't help them. So pretty much all of them offer similar things, but those are the 2 that I went with and would easily recommend either one of them if you're coming to Ometepe. Also, when I was in Moyogalpa the second time, I also stayed at the same place as last time, at a place called Casa Caimana. They are a wonderful family who have a locally run, small hostel hotel with private rooms. The rooms have private bathrooms, the beds are comfortable, and it's extremely affordable. I think that, and I've traveled at this point a fair amount to say that it is probably one of the best 5 or 10 places that I've stayed when you look at the combination of the price, what you get for that price, and most importantly, the people that run it. They are a wonderful group who look after you and make sure you have everything you need during your stay. This time I'm staying, as I said, in Altagracia. I'm staying in a new place this time. However, it is also just as impressive in terms of customer service and in terms of value for what you get. And then I'm actually making one more stop again, this time over in Merida, because I just liked the view over there so much. Being able to sit on the lake in a cabin and watch the sunset every day. It was just a beautiful spot, and so I've decided to go and book there again. So really this video for Ometepe this time really is about Altagracia and this part of the island, because I had already covered the other parts of it in the past. But really, really beautiful spot here. We're gonna keep going for a little bit of a drive around. There's actually a museum here in town, sort of the pre-Columbian history on the island. However, I have been told that the cathedral that just sits across the street from here has an exhibit that's just as impressive, with lots of original artifacts and information. And I thought maybe I would go over there and check that out since I'm here. Over here first, because they have this little display set up. So here's some of the amazing statues that they have found here on the island. And these are all authentic originals. And there's a sign up back here that says statuary in Ometepe were dated and studied in the mid-19th century. Everyone agrees the dating is from 1000 to 800 years AD. And most all of these idols have representative of the alter ego of totemic animals. Of course, it says if you want to take pictures, you should donate your $1, which of course I'm going to do, because projects like this are fully supported by the donations that they receive. So make sure that if you do come here, toss in your 30 or 20 Cordoba, whatever you have, and help donate to the cause. These are really, really, really cool. I've also noticed that just standing here, you get an amazing view of the volcano with its cloud hat on top. The top of this volcano is often covered and sometimes really tricky to see much of, if anything at all. But before I go any further, 20, 25.
Al fondo se puede ver el otro, habla de la fecha donde los primeros arqueólogos empezaron a llegar.
There's actually a service going on in here at the moment, or at least people praying, so I didn't want to disturb them. We'll go to the back side of this one and have a look too. It's a beautiful old wooden church here. I was trying to find some information online about its history. I didn't see a whole lot, but if I find any updated info, I will add it to this video. But it's an interesting combination to see a church that's also respecting the history of the pre-Columbian peoples that were here, because quite often the churches and religions were the ones who kind of helped to end a lot of that. A lot of their culture, a lot of their old ways were sort of wiped out by churches and ministers and things of that nature. So it's kind of cool to see that this place has a little bit of both. So from here, let's go for another little drive around, show you the rest of the town, and then maybe we'll stop and find something to eat. Just stopped here. They've actually got a baseball stadium here, the Estadio Viejas Glorias Altagracia, and it's a local ball field. They actually have a number of different leagues here in Nicaragua. They have like a state league, they have a national league, and then I think they also have a league that competes with other countries in the area also. And it's, you know, baseball is a very popular sport down here. There are many famous Nicaraguans who have played baseball, and I think it's probably number 2, probably just behind soccer, football, if you will. And so you can see even here in this small little town, they've got a pretty impressive ball field. This is pretty much as far as the town goes. If you were to go this way, it actually only goes a couple hundred more meters before the road turns to dirt. So let's head back up this way, up the other side of town. I just came up this way for a drive, really, just to see what it looked like up here. I mean, it's small towns and villages next to each other, all along the dirt roads that go beyond the paved ring road. This would have actually looped back around to Moyogalpa in another probably 10 to 12 kilometers or so. But I don't feel the need to drive on a bumpy, dirty old road on a moped for 10 to 12 clicks. So let's head back into town. Hola. But I mean, as you can see, everyone that passes by waves, says hello. So friendly here. Everyone's just so kind. And yeah, I never get tired of it, I have to say. I know people are probably like, why do you keep going back to the same places in Central America all the time? Well, it's mostly because of the people and just their generosity and graciousness and hospitality. I think that was a Santa Claus reference. Well, let's go find some lunch. So my last thing I'd like to do here in Altagracia is show you the room that I've stayed in here in town. This was a fantastic deal, a beautiful spot, and would definitely recommend it if you are in this part of Ometepe. This was the Bananas guest house, and this was a private room with 2 large double beds. Slept on this one, and it was really, really comfortable. This room also came with its own private bathroom with a nice shower. Wasn't a hot shower, but it also wasn't take your breath away cold like I've had in some other spots. It was kind of like a lukewarm, so it was good, especially where it's always, so hot here, that it's nice to have a shower to kind of cool you off, beginning or end of the day, I suppose. But yeah, everything was good. Sink, toilet, Spider-Man towel for the floor mat, and had a fan in here. There was no air conditioning, but that was fine. I mean, this room actually stayed fairly cool during the day, comparative to some other places that I've been where the days will get hot and then the rooms get really hot. And this place was not like that. It was good. It was nice, comfortable. The space here doesn't have like a kitchen or anything, but it does include a free breakfast. So in the mornings, they make you like a little omelet with some fried plantains and some coffee and the whole bit. It's fantastic. Nice little add-on touch to staying here. As I mentioned before, this place is about 1.5 kilometers from the main sort of square part of town, down a road, mostly dirt road. So you would either have to have a scooter to get down here or, be prepared to hike. It's pretty flat the whole way, so it's not like it's a big up and down hills or anything, but just keep in mind that if you're carrying a lot of gear or stuff, getting down here, it does take a little bit extra work, but it is absolutely worth it. Staff here have been really friendly, really fantastic. They offer all kinds of stuff here, as most places do, rentals and those types of things. Wi-Fi here was excellent, a little weak at times in this room, but the common area, which I'm going to take you to in a second, was really strong. I had no problems like uploading videos for YouTube and that kind of stuff while I was here. So from my perspective, it's been great. I've certainly dealt with a lot worse Wi-Fi in a lot more expensive places. Let's go out and have a look just briefly at the common area outside to give you an idea of what it looks like and why it's called Bananas Guest House. And so here is the public space just outside my door. This is now you can see why it's called the Bananas Guest House, because it was completely surrounded by these banana trees. Nice little comfy seating area out here. So I've been doing some work, getting some work done here, which has been great. They have this nice little map of the island to kind of give you an idea of where everything is. We're actually heading down to Merida here today. This is interesting because they've got this painted in 2 different colors. It looks like the yellow would be the paved road and then the red would be dirt, but the red line here down to Merida, it's actually paved now to probably where Playa Mango is or so. But yeah, really quiet, peaceful spot here. Just got my scooter parked out front. Good place here to get some work done. And yeah, I mean, this place is beautiful. Bananas Guest House here in Altagracia has been awesome. Been a great place to stay for a couple of nights. Would highly recommend it. I'll put the information here on the screen. I booked them through booking.com, and that link will be provided over on my own website, WanderBeard.com also. So if you want to go check out the information there and book it, you can do it right through my site. How much does it cost? Well, for 2 nights here, I paid $12.50 US per night, and that included the free breakfast. So you're looking at probably $8 or $9 for the room, and then the $3 to $4 that would normally be for breakfast. amazing deal. Highly recommended it here. Ometepe has treated me so well both times that I've been here, and I'll probably be back again in the future. This is a place that I really, really like and just find it really amazing in every way. So that's going to do it for this abbreviated video here back in Ometepe. I didn't want to go through and redo videos for Moyogalpa and Merida since I've already done those before. We've seen them. But to me, Altagracia was interesting and a really cool part of the island that I don't think a lot of people visit, or at least it's certainly not as popular as places like Balue. It definitely feels more local, less tourists for sure, but lots of just beautiful scenery here with the volcano in the distance. Lots of good restaurants in town. Some come very highly regarded. I had some spectacular food at Commodore Sonia the other day. I had read that they have this really delicious jalapeno beef dish, and it was excellent. It was just, really tasty, really fresh tasting. A good mix of the jalapeno with like a cream sauce on it, and fantastic spot. So would definitely recommend checking that place out if you're in town and looking for somewhere to eat. So anyway, that's it from here in Altagracia. I'm heading out now to Merida, where I'm going to stay for a couple of days. It's literally a recap or a redo of my last time here. I'm staying at the same place, Rosa's Cabins, and I'm there for 2 nights, and I'm probably just going to get some work done, watch some sunsets from there, and just enjoy the tranquility of Ometepe Island. Merida is also my final stop here in Nicaragua for the 2nd time now. I'm off to Costa Rica next to finally finish up what I started there a number of months back, and then head to Panama after that. Really excited to get back to Costa Rica, and mostly excited to see a new country in Panama also. So stay tuned for those adventures coming soon. So thank you so much as always for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Every subscription matters, especially with the way things are on YouTube these days. Subscriptions are more important than ever. If you aren't new to my channel and you're seeing this video, please leave a like or a comment down below, just to let me know that you were here and let me know your thoughts on Altagracia and what you've seen in the video. If you'd like to support me further, there's a few different ways you can do that. As you see on the screen here, I have a Patreon set up, and I also have some donations over on PayPal and Bitcoin if you'd prefer a one-time donation. No pressure, just it's there if you're interested. And remember, life is short. Wander. And I'll see you in the next video.